And now for our next news special report.
And now we dive into a situation that's as volatile as a powder keg ready to explode. The Middle East region, where tensions simmer like a slow-burning fuse, just witnessed a disturbing escalation. 3 American heroes, our brave soldiers, have fallen victim to a drone strike. And at the center of it all is President Biden's response, or should I say the lack thereof. But this is more than just the story of a conflict. It's a tale of leadership, strength, and the future of America's role on the world stage. As we unravel the layers of this developing crisis, ask yourself, is America's grip on global leadership slipping? The answers may surprise you, so stay with us as we expose the intricate details of the situation leading up to a final thought that you do not want to miss. Now, before we dive deeper, a quick yet crucial message. Folks, in times like these, when uncertainty looms over us like a dark cloud, one thing remains a beacon of stability. I'm talking about gold. With conflicts escalating in the Middle East and economic forecasts turning grim, gold has soared past $2,000 an ounce. It's a reminder of the 70s turmoil with crisis in the Middle East and economic stagflation. Just as gold was a sanctuary then, it's our stronghold now. Amidst our skyrocketing national debt, gold's value shines brighter. So take a step towards securing your future. Call the Patriot Gold Group at 888-857-9437 for a free investor guide. Mention Next News for unparalleled service. That's 888-857-9437. That's the number you see on the screen right now. Remember, your security is worth more than gold. Now, the Middle East, a region that has long been a touchstone of global tension, is now at a boiling point, and the United States, under President Biden's so-called leadership, finds itself in a precarious position. In a recent alarming development, 3 American soldiers were tragically killed in a drone strike, marking a significant escalation in the conflict. Now, this incident not only raises serious questions about our military presence in the region, but also casts a glaring spotlight on the current administration's handling of foreign policy and national security. Now, the attack, which occurred in Jordan near the Syrian border, signifies a dramatic increase in hostilities in the already unstable region. The U.S. Central Command's confirmation of the casualties and the number of wounded underscores the severity of the situation, yet amidst the chaos and uncertainty, the response from the White House has been at best lackluster and at worst a display of ineptitude. Now, adding to the gravity of the situation, over 158 strikes have targeted U.S. and coalition personnel in Iraq and Syria. However, these relentless assaults have been downplayed as they have rarely resulted in significant injury or damage. Now, this approach to minimizing the severity of the attacks has left many Americans questioning the administration's commitment to protecting our troops and interests abroad. Take a look. Now, as we're watching here, the video of the attacks landing on an American base, the failure of air defenses to intercept the drone becomes glaringly evident. This oversight, or perhaps negligence, is not just a failure in strategy, but a clear indication of the lack of preparedness and response. It's a chilling reminder that our troops stationed to advise and support Jordan are exposing an ever-increasing danger with little reassurance of adequate protection from their own government. The escalating tensions in the Middle East don't exist in a vacuum. They're a direct result of a series of missteps and a lack of decisive leadership from President Biden. His administration's reluctance to categorically attribute these increasing assaults on U.S. soldiers to Iranian proxies, as stated by Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary Sabrina Singh, speaks volumes about the current state of American foreign policy, one of hesitation and ambiguity. Now, this indecisiveness extends beyond land to the high seas. In the Red Sea, American and British naval vessels are currently engaged in repelling attacks on merchant vessels while retaliating with counteroffensives. This marine conflict is yet another front in this rapidly escalating situation. Now, the Houthis, an Iranian-backed rebel group, they've been attacking ships in the Red Sea, prompting U.S. and U.K. forces to launch strikes against them. So this proxy war, with Iran's fingerprints all over it, it's not just a regional conflict, but a direct challenge to international security and the rule of law. Now, at a recent campaign event, President Biden, while acknowledging the deaths of the 3 U.S. service members, displayed a shocking lack of decorum and sensitivity. His chuckle following the request for a moment of silence was not only inappropriate, but deeply concerning. This behavior raises critical questions about the president's understanding of the gravity of the situation and his capacity to lead the nation through such a critical juncture. Now, Brian, the volume here needs to be cranked up because you could barely hear this guy mumbling through his moment of silence and then, of course, his chuckles. So just keep that in mind. Let's roll tape.
One last thing I want to point out that we had a tough day last night in the Middle East. We lost 3 brave souls in an attack on one of our bases.
Yes.
And I've asked you for a moment of silence for all 3 of those fallen soldiers.
Jesus.
And we shall respond. God bless you all. Thank you for allowing me to be here. And I wish you didn't have to go. Thank you all so very, very much.
Perfect time to crack a joke, right? Now, the reaction from the administration to the drone strike that killed 3 American soldiers has been equally troubling. There's a distinct lack of clarity and conviction in Biden's response. The president's statement that the U.S. will respond is vague and lacks the firmness one would expect in such circumstances. It's a far cry from the strong, decisive leadership that is desperately needed. Biden's assurance to Iran is seen in the video that they know not to do anything is at odds with the reality on the ground. The continued attacks on American forces and interests indicate that Iran, far from heeding Biden's warnings, is emboldened by his administration's tepid approach. This disconnect between the president's words and the actions of our adversaries is a stark reminder of the challenges facing American foreign policy. And the irony in President Biden's approach is palpable when we examine his comments about Iran. During a recent statement, Biden asserted with confidence, "I've already delivered the message to Iran. They know not to do anything." Watch.
I've already delivered the message to Iran. They know not to do anything.
Hang on a second. You continue bombing the Houthis if the attacks don't stop, sir?
Say that again?
Continue bombing the Houthis if the attacks don't stop. Will you continue with the strikes, sir?
We will make sure that we respond to the Houthis if they continue this outrageous behavior, along with our allies.
Yet the stark reality stands in stark contrast to his words. The drone attack that claimed the lives of our soldiers is a blatant disregard of Biden's warning. It's as if his message fell on deaf ears, or worse, was dismissed as inconsequential by a regime that continues to challenge American resolve. Now, this incident is not just a failure in deterrence, it's a clear indication that our adversaries no longer fear or respect American power under Biden's leadership. As we analyze the unfolding events, it's evident that there's a significant disconnect between the president's rhetoric and the actions of our adversaries. Iran's brazen acts directly contradicting Biden's assertions underscores a troubling reality. The administration's response to these provocations has been tepid and indecisive, emboldening our enemies while leaving our allies questioning America's commitment and capability to lead. Now, this dissonance between what is said and what is happening on the ground reveals a fundamental flaw in the current administration's foreign policy. It's a policy that appears reactive rather than proactive, lacking the clarity and assertiveness necessary to navigate the complex geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. The consequences of such a policy are dire, not just for the region, but for a global stability and for the safety of American personnel abroad. Now, the recent events in the Middle East, culminating in the tragic loss of American soldiers, are a stark reminder of the challenges that we face. The Biden administration's handling of these events raises serious questions about its capability to protect American interests and project strength in a region fraught with conflict and rivalry. As we move forward, the need for decisive leadership and a clear strategic vision has never been more critical. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe, and now my final thought. So this report isn't just about a drone strike in the Middle East or the loss of American soldiers, which is absolutely tragic. It's a profound reflection on the state of our nation's leadership and its implications for our republic. The events we've discussed today go beyond mere political discourse. They touch the very core of American strength and resolve. As we've seen, the response from the White House to these critical events has been far from adequate, chuckling, laughing it off at the most inappropriate times. It's a troubling sign of a leadership that appears disconnected from the realities of global politics and the responsibilities of American power. This isn't just about a policy disagreement. It's about the ability of the United States to stand firm in the face of adversities, to protect its citizens, and to uphold its values. As Americans, we deserve a leadership that is assertive, coherent, and respected on the world stage. Anything less diminishes our nation's standing and the sacrifices of those who serve it. Pray for those families who lost those soldiers. Nothing to laugh about, Joe.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.